That's okay. Alright, woke games hit embarrassing new lows as investors demand end to DEI initiatives. Oh god, it's the word woke. Oh god, Alana's a right-wing grifter. Here we go. Stop with the woke DEI bullshit. Stop it, Alana. You should be a wholesome chungus all the time and not be true to yourself. Alright, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going old school with a PNG as I'm traveling and my potato laptop can't handle VTube Studio right now. So we're going to do it this way for today. So we're going to talk a lot about some recent flops and some updates regarding woke games in the industry, as well as we're going to re-examine the Game Awards and some of the fallout of their
the fake awards. No one cares.
choices for the nominees of this year's Game of the Year. So, let's begin with this right here from That Park Play saying, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's $100 deluxe edition now on sale for just $5. Sweet.
Oh my god. It was $100 and now it's $5? Oh, Jesus, man. They're desperate. They're desperate for someone to buy their game, huh?
Baby bomb hits a new low, and that is not a joke. The bomb that this game has been is really just impressive at this point. This is a very heavily invested project here with hundreds of millions of dollars to work with, huge production companies behind. They
want some sort of return, and I'm not gonna buy it, don't worry. I'm good, I don't want to play this game.
And obviously successful IPs to work with, and yet this game was an absolute bomb. And now, as you can see from the screenshot, this is from the actual store here. $4.99. Yes, we know the holiday season coming through here at Epic Games.
I've never heard of a Steam game going on sale from $100 to $5. Like $100 to 50%? But 95%? That's really bad.
They're going to do some discounts to boost sales during the holiday season. But this, $4.99 for this $100 deluxe edition, that is really bad, considering this game came out in February. But if you look at the numbers, I mean, what else do you say, right? This game peaked right at the beginning at 13,000 players, which, by the way, a
$200 million game, by the way.
Massive disappointment. And over time, immediately flatlined. I mean, I'm talking in about 2 months, flatlined to the point now where the current in-game player count of this live service game is 78 players. That is very disappointing. But you know what's not disappointing?
I don't like to say numbers and stuff, but there's more people watching the stream than playing the game. That's pathetic. A multi-billion-dollar company has less attention than my stupid stream. My yap stream.
Pointing the latest drop with Advanced GG right here. So to celebrate Creators Week, we're bringing back some very beloved products, including this ice shaker, this limited edition ice shaker featuring me and my wife, Darling Straub, and our VTuber models right here on the ice shaker, as well as the return of Rev's Rocket Pop, my official flavor jar right there. And it's a holographic edition of it, so if that's something you are interested in. As always, I recommend their flavor jars. They're absolutely delicious. And I will say, based on community reaction, the Rocket Pop is a fan favorite. People really love this flavor, and also the ice shaker, as always. Beautiful art and also very durable if you want to keep your drinks cool all day. I will put a link to this in the pinned comment. Check it out and the other items I have in my collection, and make sure to use code REV at checkout to save 10% off your order.
Now let's return to the
DI Slopfest. Here's another update from Unknown 9 Awakening. So the developer, Reflector Entertainment, has laid off 18% of their staff. That is not too surprising. This is yet another.
I still can't stand the people that are still blaming gamers for this. The company fucked you over. They laid you off, but you still blame gamers because they didn't buy your game that you put effort into. I don't know. You'd have to be on some kind of level of like mental gymnastics that I cannot foresee, nor can I relate to. Just turn on the person that's fucking you over. The gamers is not at fault. It's the corpos that let you go. Imagine you're working at a factory and you get laid off because the company's losing quality in the thing that they're trying to sell. It's not your fault. You're still doing your job. You're just doing it because you're trying to earn money for your family or for yourself to live. But somehow it's the customer's fault? Like, I will never understand this.
Sweet baby infested product and studio right here. So the report comes from Games Industry Biz. So they actually used a report from Kotaku, who I know was begrudgingly reporting this, and they're doing it via Blue Sky, where basically every woke journalist is right now. But anyways, what's happening here is that it seems that 18% of the staff has been laid off, and these affected parties include QA, marketing, art and narrative teams.
Well, I mean, the QA team probably didn't even exist, let's be realistic.
Including narrative and game designer Anna Karina Bermudez and brand manager Manu Danuvel. So that's some pretty big news, but not surprising given the fact that this game also peaked around 200 players. Again, huge AAA title that expected to have a whole universe of products coming out of it. Another massive failure right there. Here's another one, ladies and gentlemen.
No one asked for this, by the way. Lego Horizon Adventures. I will never really understand Lego games unless they're like a completely different game from the original. I will never understand reboots. I get if it's like a movie or like, I don't know, like a series or something, but like, no, Lego, there's nothing wrong with Lego. Like Lego, what is it called? There's Lego Batman and Lego Lord of the Rings and Lego Star Wars. I think that's fine. But when you're just rehashing a game and then making it Lego, it's just cringe. It's just cringe in my opinion.
Just from a few days ago, and another black eye for Sony, Lego Horizon Adventures debuts to even less Steam players than Concord. That is so funny because that is the new standard, right? Did this big AAA title flop harder than Concord? Yes or no? If no, damn, you're in for some big trouble. And let's look at the numbers. Again, this is really two big IPs here combining together to make what? A giant disappointment. So as you can see, the all-time peak, 602 players.
Still less people than watch my stream on average. That's depressing. That's very sad.
And that was right on release, and that is less than Concord, which I believe was just short of 700. And then you can
Horizon was already a dying IP. That's actually a really good point. Why would anyone invest into it when the franchise is something that nobody really cares about? Like, I get Star Wars because it's like a timeless like legacy. Lord of the Rings, it's like initially a really good franchise. It's worth buying, but like Lego Horizon, really? Like,
see the next day down to 432 players. 2 days later, down to 372. Next day, 227. Next day, 163. And where we are right now on the 21st, a few days after release, we're down to 80 players. 80 players. About a week, exactly a week into release for this game. That is a massive, massive disappointment. There is no coping that can actually settle for those sorts of numbers. But anyways, here's another flop people are pointing out. So, as Fandom Pulse points out here in their headline, retail pre-orders for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle over 86% worse than Dragon Age the Veilguard. Again, another standard that's been created. Did it flop harder than Dragon Age the Veilguard? So you can see this is a game that a lot of people are already confused about because of the pure simple fact of the
Indiana Jones hasn't been relevant since like the 90s, I'm pretty sure. They kind of killed the franchise like recently in the last 10 years. Yeah, why did it bomb? Because no one cares, that's why.
Timing, right? Like, the timing makes no sense. Yeah, why is this game coming out now of all the time? And people go, well, you know what? Out of the Indiana Jones projects here, I mean, the latest film from 2023, massive box office flop, but is it really woke? What's going on? Well, this game in particular has a bit of a woke trail to follow here. So as this account points out, this is what happens when you develop a game after the disastrous box office of the latest movie in the franchise, announce a game that should have been developed 15 years ago, remember Uncharted? You center your marketing campaign on the game being adapted for modern audiences. Get woke, go broke. Now, that phrase for the modern audiences is a death mark. Anytime that is associated with your project, it's going to be terrible, and people are going to be very turned off to the game.
I disagree. Again, if the game was good, you can overlook it. It just doesn't happen very often. That's the problem.
And you can see, this is the quote that comes from Edward Curtis Chavez, who is the narrative designer for this Indiana Jones game.
We saw what happened with Jaguar, man. You completely dismiss your old audience, you throw them to the wayside, and then the modern audience doesn't give a fuck about you because either A, your product isn't good enough, or B, it's too expensive. Do not forgive Jaguar for what they did, man.
And this is the actual quote saying, "We have the opportunity to tell Indiana Jones to modern audiences." Yep. Go woke, go broke, I guess is the appropriate phrase. Sometimes cringe when people say that, but like, what else do you say about all these products in the year 2024 and really the last couple of years? I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. And that is something that people are starting to point out. So as Mark Kern points out here, investors are now warning companies about DEI. There is some official letters going out warning companies.
Ubisoft had the same thing as well. Investors said that they were going to do they wanted an investigation done on them, why they're losing so much money. And they said it's because of the DEI liability and all that shit. It might be happening. We might be having a shift. I'm not 100% convinced. I think it might take like 10 years or so, but I mean, it's good that investors are finally seeing that it's not making money, but it's basically flipping.
That if they invest
like
in DEI, they are not interested. They don't want to invest because it is a risk to their investment if their company they're investing in is in any way associated with DEI. Here's the actual letterhead here from the Alliance Defending Freedom. So they're talking about post-election investor statements. And coming off of the U.S. presidential election, it seems there is a turning of the culture here.
Post-election in my video game investment. God, fuck me. And then people say that they don't... Deep breath, Alana. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not that serious. It's fine. Don't get your blood pressure up.
And people are turning even harder on DEI. It's been a work in progress for years now. People have been growing increasingly fed up with DEI and anything that it's associated with. And now, based on the election, it's...
No, I understand and support for investment. Like, I understand the reason. It's just funny to me when people say, oh, politics doesn't influence investment or video games and, like, the subsequent products of, like, the economy and what pressure investors put on companies of all sorts. It influences everything. Of course it does. So I find it really disingenuous when people say that it doesn't happen to video games.
Seems that the
happens to art
incumbent
too.
President here is going to be cracking down even more on DEI related stuff. And this doesn't just involve the government. I mean, this trickles down into everything, including the gaming industry, for example. And in this letterhead, they talk about what DEI has been doing. And some companies are actually starting to wake up. So we can see some examples here, right, of Tractor Supply, John Deere, Harley Davidson, Jack Daniels, Ford, and Toyota, who have been completely wiping away their DEI-related departments because they are seeing a massive decrease in their sales as a result of the public.
Yeah, because people who buy Harley Davidsons are fucking boomers who don't care about gays and they just want motorcycles. Like, I just don't understand. It's like the Jaguar thing all over again.
Finding out about those things.
Obviously.
It is going to be a death mark, as I've said. Nobody wants to be associated with DEI if they're smart. That's why even the companies that are continuing to work with DEI-related companies and initiatives, they are doing so privately. That's why we're seeing client lists at Sweet Baby going private. We're seeing all the related woke consulting firms going even more underground because they know if they are discovered, if their connections are discovered, everything associated with that DEI-related initiative is going to suffer some kind of financial consequence. Now, let's move back to the Game Awards. So I have to give a little bit of an update on this.
Oh boy.
So I talked about this a few days ago, and as I already said earlier in the video, I've been traveling. I recorded this about 2 days before I traveled. The Game Awards related video I released a few days ago. And the one thing I was saying in that video is that because of the jury list, which included all of the woke heads of the industry, including IG.
Again, you have to understand that not even woke, quote-unquote, journalists were involved. There were journalists involved that don't even fucking play video games. That's what chafes my ass the most. At least with, like, quote-unquote, woke video game journalists, they'll pretend like they play the games, right? Those people that had a vote in the Game Awards for video games don't even play games. Yeah, Variety and NPR and Rolling Stone. Like, are you fucking shitting me?
EN, The Verge, some other unrelated parties like the LA Times, all these crazy parties that are known for being woke. They're the jury who controls 90% of the vote for categories like Game of the Year. And I said they will likely exercise their power to promote a game like Dragon Age The Veilguard. Now, it turns out, your boy Rev, I was wrong. I was humbled. I was humiliated. Veilguard was not a part of that list. Once the nominee list came out, you can see Game of the Year nominees here. You got Astrobot, Balatro, Wukong, the Elden Ring DLC, which is a very interesting, Final Fantasy.
I can't forgive him for that. A DLC. A DLC in my Game of the Year?
And Metaphor.
Cringe.
So, honestly, out of all those titles, I don't think there's anything that's too surprising. The only real surprise is a DLC making it, which a lot of people have an issue with, and I think that's very understandably so. But let's begin with Wukong. So, obviously, a lot of people in the industry, including one of the jury members, IGN, have been going after Wukong nonstop. I mean, after all, IGN is the one who created the original hit piece, slandering the development team over at Game Science who produced this game, calling the creators or the leaders of the development team sexist, saying there was a sexist culture based on mistranslations of their social media posts and other unfounded claims. It has been debunked, and yet they have doubled and tripled down.
The first impression damage that false narratives like this bring forth, and when they start regurgitating each other, which we saw on like Pentagon or whatever it's called in Otaku, it gives a foul impression, and reversing that is almost impossible. It's basically like whoever shits in your bowl first gets the first impression. You're not gonna try it again. You're gonna be too scared, or you're not gonna care anymore. You're just gonna have that impression forever.
On that report, which has then been shared by pretty much the entire woke side of the gaming or the game news industry, and that has been a massive eye-opener for a lot of people, seeing the coordinated attacks. And speaking of coordinated attacks in the games journalism scene, as you can see, the new marching orders are out as a result of the Game Awards nominee list. You can see every single company on here saying the exact same thing. Every headline.
Comic book, Game Watcher, Kotaku, Polygon. Oh, it's Polygon. The Games, Gamer Rant. Yeah, they're all saying the same shit. My Kirshi senses are tingling. It's almost like they're saying the same crap over and over again.
Attacking Black Myth Wukong. Let's read a few of them. This one going, the Game Award nominees' lowest ever rated title for Game of the Year in Black Myth Wukong.
Your gamer rating, by the way, not from Steam, not from anyone else, just what you thought.
Next one, Black Myth Wukong's Game of the Year nomination sticks out like a sore thumb. The next one from the gamer. Black Myth Wukong is the Game Awards' lowest ever rated Game of the Year nominee. So at this point, I think you understand what they're driving at here. They're trying to basically say that this game is a massive disappointment in terms of its nomination for Game of the Year. It was so low rated. Well, who rated it low? These journalists.
That's exactly what I said.
So they are doubling down on their low ratings for Black Myth Wukong, which shattered infinite records on Steam. And I'm
not even saying that you should take like Steam as like the gospel. But those are gamers, man. I get people review bomb and this and that, and like you can't take that like at 100% face value, but like holy shit, man. I trust the opinion of someone who plays video games all day, even if they say Wukong is shit. At least I know that they played the game and their opinion is like Donkey said it best. There's a guy that reviews movies and all he does is give bad movies great ratings, but you know what you're gonna get when you look at that guy's review. He's more honest than the people that don't criticize games for what they are. It's more credible because at least he watches the movies and gives his opinion.
With its concurrent player counts and the very,
exactly.
Let's just say satisfactory reception of this game amongst, the important people, gamers. Games journalists hated it. Well, that's
Baldy
fine. No one cares what they think.
That's his name,
Obviously, because this game did so well, and now they are coping and seething. And there's also, as I pointed out, something missing from this nomination list, and that was Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Like I said, I'm actually surprised, and a lot of people go, "Wait a second, are the Game Awards based now? Are they saying that they're anti-woke?" Absolutely not.
No.
I think this is a sign that putting pressure on these companies and these award shows and what have you actually works. And that is proof. Because I think if this went unchecked, if that jury list was not pointed out, which they eventually deleted and hid from the public.
Did they actually? Did they hide the list? I gotta look it up.
I think they would have nominated Dragon Age: The Veilguard for Game of the Year. But because of the pressure on social media, I mean, there was a lot of pressure. Like, their posts were getting ratioed on their official account. That is the reason I think Dragon Age: The Veilguard did not end up on the Game of the Year list. And that is a very positive sign that putting pressure on these companies and these parties does actually work. But as Mark Kern points out here, there is an award that Dragon Age: The Veilguard has been nominated for. And guess what it is? Out of all the awards, which one were they selected for? Innovation in accessibility.
What? How? It's literally the most generic garbage AAA game. How? What?
Chef's kiss. You know what? If they weren't being serious, I think this would be a really funny burn on this game, because basically the only
premise?
thing that they're
I'd love to know. What's the reasoning?
good at is being diverse and having accessibility for people who probably are just a bunch of screechers on Twitter who are...
Okay, but hold on. Are they implying, like, catering to... Are they implying catering to, like, these people is, like, a disability? Are you saying trans people or non-binary people are disabled? Is that actually what you're implying here? Because it literally says innovation and accessibility. Okay, so you have dialogue options for... like... That's not what this category means. But then what did they do? What did they do that was so accessible? I don't understand. I fail to understand that. Because to me, innovation and accessibility is like, I don't know, colorblind mode, or... Like, this isn't like innovation in, I don't know, diversity or something, or like an award for diversity. Handicapped? Yeah. They made the game too easy. They had a lot of toggles for stuff like colorblind and single hand. Oh, okay. The booba slider, accessibility for games that make the game playable for disabled people. So what? The game is easy and it has a bunch of toggles and that's it? Wow, I should make a game and have a bunch of toggles for people that are disabled. I should do that. I'll get a Gamer Award nominee for 2025.
Never going to buy the game, or probably couldn't even afford to buy the game in the first place.
I had no
But anyways,
idea.
I digress. It seems, though, that some people, those at Polygon, for example, are very upset about this Game of the Year nomination list and the fact that Veilguard was not on it, as they say. There was one big snub in the Game Awards nominations. Dragon Age: The Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards did not. So what does that tell you? It tells you it's a bad game. It's not just woke. You know, some games can have woke elements and do really well. Baldur's Gate.
So it's basically a consolation award. I don't know. I feel like it's insulting. I would feel insulted.
3, the character creation process.
If I won that.
Considered by many to be very woke, but the game itself, very good.
Just by putting in things that, like, other people normally do as well. Like colorblind mode and, like, having, like, big text or something.
And the wokeness ends at the character creation process. Everything beyond that is focusing on good gameplay and entertainment. Unfortunately for Veilguard, it doesn't end at character creation. It goes into the actual game itself. I mean, literally pulling a bard, characters doing push-ups because they're misgendering each other. It's ridiculous. There's infinite examples of stuff like that being injected into the game, and no one likes it. Nobody likes it, and the numbers based on the game are very clear. However, just because Polygon's upset here, there seems to be a lot of journalists turning on Dragon Age: The Veilguard because they really have no choice at this point based on the very disappointing numbers of this game. So here's some actual reports from The Gamer. Of all the people, The Gamer is turning on Dragon Age: The Veilguard, saying
yeah, they're eating themselves. That's a classic move.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard is that friend that's too woke.
Chewing each other out.
And they're saying that basically not only is it too woke, it's too safe. It's playing it too safe. So they're trying to do all this virtue signaling and this political ideology injection into the game, but
that's what people want like this. You can't be mean to characters. You make it safe, and that's what you want, and now you're upset that it's too safe.
Doing it in a too safe of way. Too safe of a way. And that is really funny. The woke journalists are saying, you can't even hang with us anymore. You're too woke. That's how crazy things have gotten. Now, one last thing I want to point out here before we go. Bro. As Mark Kern points out, I've seen this image all over the place. There's a new category called DEI Slop Flop of the Year, including games like Concord.
Slop.
Veilguard, Dustborn, Outlaws, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and Unknown 9 Awakening. Now, of course, this is not a real category for
That's actually a good one.
The Game Awards, but you might see it at this right here, the real Game Awards, as Craig promotes here. You guys might want to check this out. You can find this at right here on Twitter if you want to support.
God, I hope Asmund does something like this.
Show.
I hope Asmund does the worst Game of the Year award show, whatever. Just giving the worst awards for like the worst games. I would make me so happy. It would be such a good content farm.
Made by gamers for gamers. But yeah, they're going to do actual
the shame
flop
awards,
categories, which I think is hilarious and something we need in the year 2024, following all these massive flops in the industry that just happen to be a bunch of woke virtue signalers. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate the listen, guys. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Call it the flop slop? Dude, that was fucking funny. God damn, dude. I wish it was real, the slop flop awards. The Dragon Age got freaking snubbed. Wow.